The only rules of engagement here is if there's anything you want to pass on, just say pass.
Just say pass.
And if we get, we're not gonna do like a march through this. If we get to all of them, we get to all of them. If we don't, we don't. All good. You cool?
Yeah, I just sitting out there, I just know everyone's thrilled to, all right, 40 minutes of Steve Pierce pontificating.
On.
I took a shower for this.
You look fabulous.
He does look good. Yeah, him and Katie just got back from Durango, so.
10:30 last night.
Yeah, so, Steve's been rode hard to put up wet, so we'll see how this goes. Let's give this a shot. But, starting with I don't think sometimes everybody knows kind of where you are at in the disease state that you're in, kind of what your understanding of your current health condition, where you at.
Okay.
What's kind of, prognosis, treatments, all that kind of stuff.
All right. The diagnosis is that I have a hyperactive variant of prostate cancer.
Mm-hmm.
As we know, prostate cancer tends to have a long tail to it. There's the expression, many men will die with prostate cancer, but not that many will die with or of prostate cancer because it has such a long tail. Mine's a hyper-aggressive variant. And in fact, over a period of 2 months, I went from basically having cancer only in lymph nodes to being spread to 7 different places on bones. Since it's spread, it's now stage 4. It is terminal. There is no cure. There is no way to set it permanently into remission. So we're just kind of waiting around.
Well, would you, and again, we see it a lot because we communicate and talk, but I don't think everybody here knows, like for you, when you're having a really good day, what does that look like for you physically?
Oh.
When you're having a bad day, what does that look like for you,
Bad day would be pain and nausea,
Yeah,
significant pain and nausea.
yeah.
If the nausea is bad enough, you forget about the pain because it's hard to think about pain when you're hugging the toilet. Good day is, and this is something that's kind of hard to explain, but I think y'all should practice this, is take some time during your day or evening when it's quiet and just feel yourself. Feel the human body has a warmth of wholesomeness about it when it's feeling good. And if you can plug into that feeling, it's almost like a little bit of a high to it. And so a good day is when there's no pain, no nausea, no what's called, at least I understand it to be called, Mark, you can describe it better than I can, cancer fatigue, this kind of fatigue where even reaching over to grab the remote control is like, I really got to reach over and grab that remote control.
Yeah.
It's just so tiresome. That if, just, I've read it on the internet. Is what?
Lethargy.
Lethargy, yes.
Some people describe it as having a 400-pound blanket on you at all times.
Oh, really?
Just to move from here to there, if you can imagine having this weighted blanket.
Yeah.
That's a fair description. So a good day is when you're feeling good, feeling strong.
Yeah.
Bad day is when you're feeling like you're nauseous all the time, having pain all the time, pain enough. I have pain all the time, pain to the point where you notice it.
Yeah.
And it's starting to interfere with your activities of daily living.
Does it, on a day-to-day basis, does that pain become debilitating?
It can.
Yeah.
It's been times where I have it in my abdomen and in my hips.
Mm-hmm.
There are times where I can't straighten up.
So how do you manage that?
Well, we've tried several different pain medications because morphine makes me violently ill. Hydrocodone makes me violently ill. We finally have latched on to Dilaudid, and that seems to work.
and you're able to function okay when you're on it in the pain? You know what I mean? Is there the difference between side effects for a drug or your pain? If your pain's in control, is it easier for you to,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Pain is everything. And towards the evening, when you're tired, the pain will come on.
yeah,
Like Sam, I'm sure you've noticed that during the evening times is when you start to hurt more than you had during the day.
When you, as you kind of get into this and you think about the future going forward, as it relates to the disease itself, is there anything that you worry about? Is there anything that you fear about what is to come in the progression of this thing?
Not so much the disease, no. The cancer will do what the cancer will do. I guess if I have a fear, it'll be that the pain will become intractable.
No, yeah, that makes sense to me.
I don't know who it was, but someone had sent out a joy and concern about a lady who was at the hospital with pain, very severe pain, and she couldn't take drug medications except Tylenol, and it was in her back.
Yeah, that was a friend of mine's mother, yeah. Of course, she's 88 years old and, you know, going through that second childhood that some of us.
Yeah, I think I'd be saying, I'm 88 years old, I don't have to do anything you tell me.
You know, those of us.
Do you have any more pain days or more okay days?
More pain days.
Has Texas legalized medicinal marijuana?
Yes.
It's-
Well,
Yes.
it's,
She just read.
as my wife said, yes.
It's very, very low dose.
It's a very low dose, it's 0.5%.
Which is not enough to do
THC.
anything,
Yeah,
not when you're in that much pain.
yeah,
Do you
exactly.
want something stronger?
Have you tried something stronger?
Betsy said she's
Well-
going to Colorado.
Well, while we were in Colorado,
That's what Betsy's like.
while we were in Colorado,
Yeah, there was an
this is a
interesting
very
fact.
nervous situation for me.
He was so stressed out.
I was very stressed out. I told the young man behind the counter, I'm very nervous. I used to be a drug prosecutor. Katie shushed me. I texted that to Joe, and Joe says, I bet they hear it all, but I imagine they don't hear that often.
So as you kind of, go ahead.
Did you do any good?
Please.
What-
Yeah, how'd it work?
Yeah.
And can we come over?
Mark can explain the mechanics of it all better than I can. It doesn't, it's not a 100% pain relief. It's not like the pain just disappears like you would get with an opioid. But it does help the body relax. There's a sense of wholeness that comes from it.
So
The
it's
pain.
pain, but you don't care.
The pain is dulled quite a bit,
Is it?
so,
Takes the edge off.
So when you're,
yeah.
Make you hungry? Did it injure
Oh.
you?
No,
Didn't do you any effect
Well,
like that?
he took a very minimal, the dropper that he bought at first was what? It was,
we need to move on now.
it was a pretty low dose of THC. It's
Yeah.
higher than 0.5% or
Yeah.
whatever. So, so it didn't give him any psychosis, like, effects at all. It was specifically just to help his body relax.
Yeah, you can buy it in various concentrations.
I don't know that.
And so I bought the one that would not give you the high or the low, whichever one it does.
Whichever one.
So you hadn't turned into a stoner yet?
Not a pothead yet. He kept calling on, he was like, look, these potheads. And I was like, Dad!
Wow,
Quit!
this was traumatic for you to go through.
It was so terrible.
So when you're kind of dealing with this on a day, and it's probably good, tell us how, and we do it periodically. It's like, you set something up for lunch, take your temperature, whether you're good or bad, and we either do it or we don't.
Right.
But how do we, tell people here how you kind of want us to show up in your life, as
Okay.
your friends during this kind of period, during this journey, knowing that you have good days, your bad days. I think there are people that really like, should I call? Is he feeling bad? Is he, what do you want?
Doing what you're doing now. This is truly a remarkable group of people. And I may be somewhat unique now, but I am not going to be unique in 20 years with this class. Hopefully at least 20 years with this class. And sometimes stuff just happens. I mean, Becky Stumbaugh, she's in the hospital and no one really knows why. Knows what her condition is, but doesn't know what's causing it. And so stuff just happens to us. The biggest thing is when there's someone like me, I could plan something for tomorrow, and Paul and I have got this worked out. Whereas I'll plan a lunch with Paul, and then it may be for like noon. It may be 10:30, and I'll call him and say, I can't make it. And he's good with that. He's cool with that. And of course, I'm all tore up about it because that's not the way I was raised. You just cowboyed up and you just went on about your business. But Paul has seen me come to lunch when I haven't felt so good, and he's told me, he says, when you're not feeling good, just call and we'll cancel. So as all of us age and start getting ailments and predicaments, we should be able to still plan events with each other, still engage with each other, and don't be afraid of doing that and then having to cancel. It's better to cancel than not plan to begin with.
Yeah, it's worked for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's worked for us. But sometimes people just don't, should I do it? Should I not do it? Yeah, do it. I mean,
Yes,
plan
very
it,
much
set it
so.
up, do it like it's just a regular course of everyday business. And just have a little flexibility. It's all good. But I think the interesting part with Steve, and for me, with you, it was, that kind of messed you up a little bit. Well, I don't like to cancel. That's something, that's not good for me. And it's, we had to, I think even Randy and all, had to kind of work you through it like, yeah, it's all right with us. It was like sitting on that porch at Perenni Ranch. We're all sitting there, and Steve wasn't feeling good in the afternoon. We rented this house, and Steve was, not feeling good in the afternoon. It was like, well, go take a nap. We need to talk behind your back anyway, so go take a nap. They did keep the door open so he could listen, but again, his will go peak and valley. Just be flexible with it. It's all good. Probably the tougher thing, conversation that we'll have here today, but when you revolve around death and what's coming up and all that, is facing death for you a difficult experience?
That can be answered several ways. First of all, I don't fear death. In fact, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go start swallowing all of my morphine pills. But there's an allure to death. The death has a certain release to it. Used to be, you'd read about someone having committed suicide, you think, oh, why couldn't they just manned up a little bit more? But you just never know the darkness that lives in people's lives. And there have been day after day after day where I've had intractable pain, where I thought, I'm not going to step out in front of a bus, but if a bus happens to jump the curb and get me on the sidewalk, that would be A-okay with me. So I don't necessarily fear death for that reason. Also, I'm a big believer in the salvation that we have through the death of Jesus, our Savior. And the descriptions of heaven in the Bible are pretty darn cool. I mean, when Jesus says, I'm going to drink the new wine with you in heaven, I'm like, well, wine? I bet there's a margarita machine up there also. The part that I feared death about was if I would leave Karen financially secure. And that was a huge concern. And as many of y'all are approaching the retirement age, you'll probably start thinking, do we have enough money to retire on? Right? Well, think about taking one source of income out of that equation when one person dies, because the Social Security drops to half, right? It may not sound like a whole lot, but
It's a whole lot.
over a year, it is a whole lot. And if you go to a financial planner, which we were blessed to be able to go to, who did tell us we would be okay, there's not a whole lot of difference between the non-sustainable number and the sustainable number. Karen, I know you've worked on that with your and Mark's finances since you're the finance professor and graduate in the class. Isn't that pretty much correct? There's not a whole lot of dollar difference between what money you can spend to be sustained till the age of 100 and then what money you run out at the age of 75.
And what percentage you can take out, you know,
Yeah.
3 to 4%, and,
4%'s a big number.
yeah.
Yeah. And it is, it's interesting. And that when we say not a big number, we're talking like 10,000, 15,000 a year is the difference between sustaining your lifestyle all the way to 100 at your current purchasing power, and back to Steve's point, running out at 75. And it's amazingly tight, but
So I would suggest that if you don't have one, find a financial advisor and go get a financial checkup. There's no shame in my game when they finally threw the screen up there to show that Karen would be okay. I started crying. It was such an emotional release for me. Had to apologize. These poor ladies, they're all embarrassed. And there I am over there crying like an 8-year-old at the movie Old Yeller.
They were not. They're the kindest, nicest people we've ever met, so.
they were our people. So what kind of brings you comfort during this time?
My family, friends. Karen, of course, is primary. She's always upbeat about my condition, even when I don't feel upbeat. She knows how to pet me, how to stroke me, and then how to leave me alone, so to speak. The kids have always been awesome. They'll call and text and email, asking what kind of day I'm having, and smiley faces when I'm having good days and frowny faces when I'm not having good days. And then the cards I get, I got a card from Luann and Fred this week. I get cards pretty routinely from folks in this class. So what sustains me? My family and this group of people sustain me, and my faith in Jesus, our Savior.
So when you, again, on a little bit of the same subject, when you think about it, what is most difficult in your mind about leaving loved ones behind? Whether it's your family, whether it's us.
Karen takes up with the gigolo and runs out of money.
It could happen.
Never seen that.
Very good.
It's gonna be a chef. On a cruise ship.
It's going to be a chef on a cruise ship.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
Or a bartender.
Or a vintner.
I doubt I will live long enough for my grandkids to know me.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Because you first start forming memories, what? How old? About 4 or 5 years old. I do not anticipate living that long.
Yeah. I get it. So jumping over a little bit on the whole faith thing, that old chestnut, how has this kind of experience either, is impacted, either enriching your faith or not enriching your faith?
Oh, it's definitely enriched the faith.
Yeah.
Mark Brown and I have talked about this, and that is, it makes, my life is kind of divided into before cancer and after cancer, whereas before it was before kids and after kids, right? And when it's before cancer, you're really kind of on automatic pilot. You're just kind of locomotive along. You go to work, you do your shtick at work. No one yells at you. It's a good day. You come home, you kiss your spouse. And I enjoyed cooking, so a lot of times I would cook the meals in the house. And if I didn't cook the meals, I'd clean up. And you tend to kind of get into the routine that is life. But Mark and I have talked that when you recognize that time is short, each day is almost crystalline. Each day becomes more purposeful, if you get what I mean. When you get up, you give my prayer life has expanded exponentially. When I get up, I give a prayer for a good night's sleep. Or if I've had a bad night's sleep, I get up and I give a prayer for, let's hope it's a good day. Can you make it a good day for me, Lord? And so each day tends to stand on its own.
Yeah. Oh.
And Bailiff, you can bring me my new phone. So it makes your spiritual life, I think, much more intense.
Yeah, I would imagine. So now, obviously, you believe in life after death, and I have to say, Debbie Emerson asked this question. You're going to show up early. Oh, I had to. It's a great question. It's a great question. What are you going to say to Jesus when you meet him? Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good
That
question.
is a good question. Give credit where the good question came from there.
Wow. What's the lotto winning numbers next week? Can I tell Karen? Gosh, that is a good question. Probably, when can I see my parents? And can Mike Goodrich and I go backpacking next week?
So one of the things that, and again, we've talked a lot about this, and again, the word values. What do you value? Has what you value changed?
Mm-hmm.
And what does that look like? And what is valuable to you? Has that changed during this journey here?
Well, some things have always been a value, have become much more in your face value, like the comfort of your home. No matter how bad a day you're having, if you have a comfortable home, it's a good day. Because you think, man, I could feel this way be living in cardboard underneath the bridge somewhere. And just some wrong turns at particular places in my life, and I could have been that way. So comfort in the home has become something of great value to me. some things that I thought were of great value aren't of great value so much anymore.
Like what?
My job. And that took me a long time to get over. A long time to get over. I used to have dreams about being at trial and just killing it. I mean, just absolutely smoking in the courtroom. I was so good. And I would wake up and I'd say, wow, why couldn't I be that good in real life? I told my counselor about it, and he said, that's the mind grieving about your job loss.
Huh.
Because I had to quit work because the medication I was taking was causing me to have short-term memory loss. And that's not what you want in a trial attorney. You don't want to go,
That close.
hold on, it'll get there.
It'll come back to me.
Yeah, it'll get back to me. Can we take a break? Just 2 minutes, all I'm asking for. No, no one wants their trial lawyer to be like that. So I quit work and surrendered my bar license because I knew that I wouldn't be able to fulfill my oath as an attorney to zealously represent the person. And at first, I just hated losing my job. I just hated it. I really, really, really enjoyed what I was doing. I loved my work. I loved the people I worked with. But as time has moved on, I realized that, yes, work is important. You can certainly turn it into a mission if you want to. But it's not as important as you think it is, because once you're gone, you're gone. They get someone else to take your place. I mean, even the Pope gets replaced.
Well, you and I talked about, and I don't think some people truly appreciate being on the guy's side of the thing. When you think of retirement and all that, you see a certain race you're going to run. There's the tape over there, right? You're going to break the tape in your own way, right? And the reality is there's a lot of us that the tape gets broken for us before we wanted to cross that tape. And for guys, sometimes that's not really easy.
It was very difficult for me.
Yeah.
I had to go to counseling because of it.
Yeah, I get that. I get it.
I mean, it's one thing to be at work and then your supervisor to come in and tell you you're doing a great job. You get home, what do you tell your spouse? When they say, how's work? What's the first thing you tell them? Well, my supervisor came in and told me I'm doing a great job, right? It's another thing when your supervisor comes in and taps you on the shoulder and says, your work is really slipping. I think you need to go see a doctor. And you kind of know it's coming, and you realize that once you leave, I knew then I'd never be going back to work again. That was hard.
They have
Yeah.
kept his office, and they won't let any other attorneys go in there.
Really?
At this point in time, even after, 3 years?
So cool.
It's still, nobody can go into his old office. It's still kind of his little space there. So,
On a different subject, and I got a few of these questions. They all kind of come in as one big lump, which is kind of as time runs short, again, what are your goals? What do you want to do? And the word bucket list always comes to mind. I don't know if that's the right word in my mind, but it's all around that, time's getting short. What do you want to do?
Well, one thing I'd like to do, which I don't think I'll be able to do anymore because I just get so tired so quickly, and that is travel.
Yeah.
Love to travel. I think travel is important because it expands us beyond ourselves. Travel is especially important with whatever your president is, because invariably there's people in foreign countries who think your president's an idiot, whether it be Obama or Trump. It doesn't matter. They just think they're an idiot. And you can therefore try to convince them that not all Americans are idiots, which generally means you keep your mouth shut and listen a lot. Be with Sophie, our granddaughter, as much as I can.
Yeah.
Katie and I just finished our 4th annual father-daughter road trip to Durango this year. Last year was Creed, Colorado? No, Wyoming. That's right, we went to Wyoming.
Yeah, he has an affection for Wyoming.
Went to Wyoming, to the Mountain Man Convention, watched them skin a beaver.
He made
Not
me watch
Katie's,
someone skin a beaver.
that was not Katie's favorite activity.
It took so long.
So be able to continue our father-daughter trips, and just spend time with my family.
Yeah.
In the
And
rainbow
friends.
camp out.
Huh?
In the rainbow camp out.
In the Rainbow Camp Out.
So when you think of the Rainbow class in general, what can or should the Rainbow class do to carry on not only the legacy of Steve Paris, but the many others who have left us and us that will be leaving, which will be all of us. But what do you want us to do as a class to carry on your legacy?
Wow. There's a question. I think do more Bible study. I think the Bible is a marvelous book because you can read something, say 10 years ago, and then read it again today, and it means something entirely different to you. It's a living, breathing, changing document that greets you where you are. So I find great peace and comfort because my life ain't as bad as their life is in the Bible. And then the other is just keep doing what y'all are doing. You know, the Rainbow class is really a tapestry. We're all threads together in this tapestry we hang on the wall. And when one of us leaves, like when the Weldons left, that thread was pulled out of that tapestry, and the tapestry was not as beautiful as it should have been, or as it could have been. So we need to recognize that our class is more than just a gathering, a social activity, or a spiritual activity. It is a tapestry of our lives. And each of you is a thread in that tapestry. And when that thread is pulled because either your job takes you away or you decide you want to go to a different church, or for whatever reason that tapestry is made less than the perfect whole beauty that it was. So before you make decisions about leaving, think about how your threads will be removed from that tapestry.
Thanks, Steve. So, as it relates to Karen and Katie and James and Joe and Sarah, Sophie, what lessons do you want them to take to heart and to remember?
That's deep.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of something like what my dad said when Mom died. I'm sitting there and hear this man and woman, they've been married for 60 years, and we just woke Dad up to tell him Mom died. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm an adult male, right? I'm in my late 40s. Should kind of have it figured out. And I'm thinking, what is he going to do? What is he going to say? How can I comfort him? And he reaches over and he takes Mom's hand and he says, "Oh, my darling, I love you, and we had a lot of fun, didn't we?" And so, Katie, you're gonna make me cry.
We're talking about pop-up.
So I'd like to be thought of as, oh, Dad, we love you, and we had a lot of fun.
Thanks. Does anyone else have any other question they want to ask at this time?
I thought he was gonna say for his legacy that he wanted us to bring our Bibles every Sunday.
Well, I knew that wasn't gonna happen, so
Might as well not ask for it, right?
I'm not asking for it.
Well, that's it. Let's take a moment of prayer here. Let's bow our heads, please. Dear God, thank you for this opportunity to sit down with your good servant, Steve, my friend. I love him like a brother. I only wish him the best of days, tomorrow and the day after and the day after. In Christ's name I pray, amen. Yay! Nice job! Nice job. You're
That was
really
well
good.
done.
You're really good off the cuff. You're very good off the cuff. I see, we have clocked in 37 minutes there. Martha will be happy.
All right.
See?